Good afternoon, everybody. I have got a little message for you today, and I'm currently sat on the floor in my bedroom because it was the only quiet spot I could find. And if you listen really carefully, you could probably hear Carl and the kids. I think they're wrestling and doing Lego. So, yeah, hopefully it's not too distracting. I wanted to talk to you about something today that I think is really important to remember. So it's no surprise to any of you that we're currently experiencing something that is really quite maybe scary or maybe stressful. There's a lot of unknown at the moment, a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of questions. Well, I know I've got loads of questions, so I can only imagine that you lot have got loads of questions as well. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating not knowing what's going on. It's frustrating not knowing when this will end or what's going to happen in terms of school or work or just life as we know it. And it's really, really hard to, although we're at home, we're spending a lot of time at home, it's still really hard to have rest and to feel peaceful because of all of the questions that we've got and all of the stuff that's running through our minds, all of the stuff that we're seeing on the news. Social media, pretty much everywhere you look, there is a lot of anxiety producing stuff. So I want to talk to you about something that somebody very important once said. So you can imagine who I'm going to talk about, and that is Jesus. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light." And those of you that are in the youth group know I like to put it into youth speak, so to try and make it a little bit more relevant for you guys. So I kind of tried to imagine if Jesus was saying this to one of my youth group, what would it sound like? So, oi you lot, those of you that are panicking about exam results, those of you that are feeling really, really stressed out, those of you that are struggling with having to stay at home and not see your friends, those of you that are looking at the news and looking at social media and panicking, those of you that are feeling so overwhelmed that you just don't know what to do with yourselves, come and spend some time with me. And I promise you that I will give you rest and you will feel better for it. Let me teach you, not Facebook, not Instagram, not TikTok, not the news, not your friends. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest. Because when you're with me, the weight of the world is easy to bear, and the burden that I give you is light. So we know that we were created by and for love. And we know that God loves us so much. So much that he looks at us, and I just like to think he just looks at us and he's like, "You little tiny people, you're just so awesome. I love you so much." And the thing that I find hardest to get my head around is the fact that he knows absolutely everything about us, everything there is to know. Yes, he even knows about last night when maybe you plotted in your mind to murder your sibling. Or he knows the things that we've done that we shouldn't have, the things that we said that we shouldn't have, the things that we've thought, the things that we've looked at, the things we've given attention to that we shouldn't have. He knows all of that. And it doesn't change how he feels about us. And during this time of being in lockdown, being in a stressful situation, you may find that you're behaving in ways that you don't understand, that you're thinking in ways that you haven't thought before, or that you're just feeling really overwhelmed and really stressed out and finding it really, really hard to take the time to connect with God. And that's okay. And God gets that. He looks at us and he's like, "I get it, and I love you so much. Nothing you can do will ever change that." And I think that's something that's helped me a lot recently is finding some time every single day to ground myself in that. So you may have seen a lot recently, there's quite a big self-care movement. And that is looking at how we can look after ourselves, our minds, our bodies, eating a healthy diet, looking after ourselves through exercise, and just, yeah, self-care, caring for yourself. And I have been trying with two small children who like to climb on my head and, yeah, always want to drink, um, to find some time for that kind of self-care, but I've kind of renamed it. So to myself, I call it grounding myself in love. So I know that if I wake up in the morning and I go on Facebook and I have a scroll through and then I put the news on and I watch that and then I have a conversation with a friend, I can find myself quite quickly feeling like this, like sort of pulled this way and that way and stressed out and not sure what to do. And then I find that that means I'm quite short with my family. I haven't got a lot of patience because my mind is taken up thinking of all of the stuff and trying to work stuff out and trying to figure it all out. And so I'm trying every day to find a way to ground myself in love. And all that means is reminding myself of God's love, of how much He loves me. Because when I do that, that automatically sort of reminds me of a few other things. Like, it reminds me that I haven't got anything to prove, I haven't got to achieve anything in the day to make God love me more. It reminds me that when I am short and I am getting it wrong, He still loves me. It reminds me that, nothing at all can separate us from God's love. And if I know that God's love is that huge and that big, I can trust Him. I can trust Him. And at a time like this, trusting in God might feel really, really tricky because we're seeing so much sad stuff going on in the world around us. But when you remember that He is a good God, He is a huge God, He is in control of absolutely everything, and there's nothing that we can do to control anything. We are so, so tiny in the whole big picture. And when we are able to give that burden to God, to go, okay, I can't figure this out. I cannot work this out. I do not see how any of this can ever be made for good. We are so, so blessed that we can know that actually, no, we can't, but God can, and God does know, and God does have a plan for this, and God will bring good out of it. And so I would like to encourage you to just find a little bit of time every day, and it will look different for each of you. Some of you, it might mean that you're going to go out for a nice walk in nature and just remind yourself of all of that. For some of you, you might paint pictures. Some of you might want to dance or have a stretch. Some of you might want to lay on your bed and listen to worship music. And some of you may find it useful to talk this through with someone else, like a parent or a sibling or something. But just, I really want to encourage you to ground yourself in that love every single day, because perfect love, which is what God has for us, casts out all fear. And I just want you to practice it, because at first, if I'm completely honest, hand on my heart, I found it really, really hard. I felt like I would lie on the sofa and then I would start trying to ground myself in love, and my mind would just flip out into all sorts of other places, and then I would end up stressed out again. So I'm just suggesting that we practice it daily, and hopefully over time you will find that, like Jesus said, come and spend some time with me, and I promise you that you will feel rested. So hopefully that's been helpful to some of you. I know it's really been helpful to me, and yeah, He loves you so, so much. So just remind yourself of that every day, and you're winning.